Hello guys, welcome to another episode of KSP Resurgence. Today I'm starting in the tech tree just because I did some off-camera science grinding with our two space stations, cores and ores, which are both acronyms. I am going to get a lot of parts, like especially some spaceplane parts, because today I'm building a space shuttle. Now, I never actually built a working space shuttle before. I have tried, but I've never gotten it to work out. Space shuttles are difficult because you have to worry about the center of mass, because having a space plane and a fuel tank is makes it somewhat unstable, so you're gonna have to worry about that. So, I have been able. This is gonna be called the Destiny. It's gonna be my first actual working space shuttle. I was hoping to be able to have it let it go to Olia, but unfortunately that didn't quite work out. I guess able to go to lots of. It does have quite a bit of spare fuel, and when it gets to Sanctar's orbit, so I'm probably gonna have this be like a ferry for space stations or interplanetary vehicles assembled there. If we're gonna be assembling our vehicles in like around Krob, which is like a second moon, I plan to have a colony there, but not today, unfortunately. If we're gonna be assembling more. We're going to be assembling interplanetary vehicles that aren't going to be orbiting Sanctar by default. We might have to build a better vehicle that can go further. But that's an upgrade for another day, unfortunately. I was hoping to have this video out yesterday, but I ran out of time, so it couldn't happen. I was originally going to have an Aerospike for this, but Aerospikes do not have gimbal, or at least the Dart doesn't, so I decided to swap that out. I eventually decided to only have the OMS engine be on the shuttle itself, but and have the main engine be on the fuel tank, because like those space shuttles have a fuel tank. That the NASA space shuttle had like an orange fuel tank. I kind of want to have something like that, but the fuel tank actually has a rocket. I also wanted the fuel tank to be recoverable. I put parachutes on the fuel tank just to make it easier to recover, because I probably wasn't gonna have too much fuel to do a suicide burn. I still did put Griffins on there though, just in case. I didn't put landing legs on there because I wanted to land in the ocean. Then it'll be way easier to recover. Besides, we probably don't have any good landing sites anywhere. I could place some there with Kerbal constructs, but I don't wanna, so I'm not. I think this mod is called Eternal RCS, that adds all the fancy RCS ports that you can put inside your craft. Really cool. Opens up the possibilities a whole lot. Realize I goofed something up here and that they're tilted for some reason, so I just delete them and place them again. This was a really long build. I sped it up like 500. I sped it up 5 times just to like be able to have it in there without too much bloat. It takes a while to build space planes just because of how much you have to do. You have to build the fuselage, the wings, the engines. You have to do and of course the landing gear. I got Kerbal foundries for the landing gear, so they just look cool and they're easily customizable. You can actually put them on the side, which is pretty cool. So, the main thing that bugs me is how I have to align it. Now, here's a little brief part where I do end up testing it. Just to see how it glides, because the space shuttle has to be a good glider too. I felt like it was a pretty decent glider, so I decided to keep it. Besides, I probably will have at least a little bit of powered propulsion, considering our main engine did have plenty of fuel left in orbit. I was gonna use a vector, but it has like just way too much thrust. And besides, having an engine that you're not even gonna use in orbit just adds dead weight. It's just a bad idea. So I just decided to add only have the OMS engine here. It's from a near future spacecraft, I believe. I didn't like how the shroud didn't really align well with the wings, so I kind of added these additional procedural parts just to kind of ease things out just a little bit. Still look weird if you look at the back, but it probably won't. Now that I've completed construction of the actual shuttle, I'm going to start doing the work on the fuel tank. If the door is going to be powered by liquid hydrogen oxidizer, or liquid oxygen, because that's just that's what all the space shuttles are powered by. I decided to put a probe core here just because I wanted this to be recoverable. I also ended up adding griffins just to make it more recoverable. If you're wondering where I'm getting all these space shuttle engines from, it's from Rocket Motor Megangery. It's a really good mod that adds a bunch of space shuttle-esque engines. It's really cool. Now I did a bit of an initial test here. Actually, no, not until later. Yeah, I have to do the griffins first. I did think about like adding RCS blocks, but they just won't work out because Chemical Technologies makes it that the bipropellant RCS is hypergolic only and not powered by like hydrolox or methalox or anything, so it's kind of annoying. So now I'm doing a nice little test here. I'm gonna do a test very, very soon. The initial test of how it works. Yeah, I didn't worry about too much about the TWR. It did end up being quite low in this initial test. Just because it was only one engine powering this entire thing. And sometimes with Chemical Technologies, the TWR and Delta V readouts are very inaccurate. I was hoping I'd be able to gimbal this just by using the engine's massive gimbal, but at last it did not work out. So I just tilted it a bit, and that seemed to solve the problem. I also fixed my griffins because they're wrong. And added some parachutes too. Thankfully, this tilt just solved the problem. They still had a lack of thrust, so like just what they did with the actual space shuttles, they just slapped on some rocket motors, some solid rocket boosters. It actually flies somewhat stable, but somewhat slow. So as a result, I have to add solid rocket boosters. I could have done like liquid fuel just to maybe some higher efficiency and more survivability, but I just felt like I just decided to go solid this time just because it was cool and closer to the actual space shuttles that were used. So here's another test just to see if it actually flies. I do have to micromanage it a lot because it's a space shuttle, but it works. It works somewhat well, actually. I must say, Procedural Clouds is looking amazing today, like always. I did remember I had infinite fuel on, but this is just a test flight. I'm going to revert it afterward. It does get somewhat unstable when the solid rocket boosters are low on fuel, but so I have to hold W all the time just so it doesn't spin out. But as soon as I decouple them, it gets a lot more stable. Or as soon as they run out of fuel, it does. And also the control flaps kind of broke because one of them is facing the wrong direction. I did fix that, don't worry. And also the coupler was facing the wrong direction, so it ended up on the space plane, which is not aerodynamic at all. So we're doing our first maiden flight of the Destiny. I'm really proud of how the space shuttle came out. I'm using FMRS just to be able to recover the first stage. And if you're wondering how my solid rocket boosters have plumes, it's from a mod called Avalanche. It's a really great mod. I would highly recommend it. Just because default waterfall configs do not add solid rocket motor effects. And also, speaking of waterfall, it kind of bugs me how like so many people play without waterfall. I mean, I don't think it's that resource heavy. I mean, if people are willing to play with the volumetric clouds, parallax 2, scatterer, and all that, why can't they add waterfall in the mix? It's just a tiny little pet peeve of mine, that's all. We have a safe booster separation, and now it's just on the sustainer. Yeah. We're not coasting, we're just still burning. I really like how the Hydrolox engine plumes. I like the color. It's a nice blue color. Starting to get some Firefly action. Like I said previously, I was really hoping for the space shuttle to be able to reach Olia, but alas, it wasn't to be. But for any orbital operations, it'd be a great option. I'm thinking about using it to ferry crew to the very first interplanetary vehicle we're going to be building. We're almost in space. Activate the engine. You may have noticed it runs on pentaborane, which with chemical technologies, pentaborane can be used as like a better hypergolic fuel. It can also be used in jet engines instead of kerosene. I didn't really need that super powerful antenna, but I decided to put it there because it looks cool. And like that, we are in orbit with 600 meters per second left to spare. I was going to try a plot course to Olia, but we do not have nearly enough. Besides, it'd be good to keep onto this extra fuel just in case something bad happens. And with FMRS, we are able to warp back time and go to our main booster. I'm not recovering the solid rocket boosters just because like that'd be a waste of time. And I'm not even playing in career, so why would I have to recover this when I'm not playing career? I just want to recover it just for fun, just because it looks cool. I probably won't if I do any more of these launches, I'll probably cut a lot of the fluff out, but I just want to show the first attempted recovery, the whole thing, just to document things. Now, we kind of came in rather hot, we almost blew up, but thankfully I was able to use a bit of the fuel just to slow down a bit. Oh no, there goes Destiny, it crashed. Oh no, it's crashing. Ah, just kidding. Except FMRS, it warps back in time, so you end up crashing, but then you jump back to the present and tell the game that you definitely recovered that booster, so... Unfortunately, we did not land in the ocean. We are landing in the mountains. But we did land quite close to the sea, so hopefully we can do a bit of maneuvering just to get that fixed. Or maybe we could do a different launch site. Thankfully, these parachutes are more than enough to slow down our booster. We're able to land safely, well, mostly safely. We're going to tip over, and it doesn't really help that this engine is tilted itself. We don't even have landing legs. I didn't even put landing legs on here because I thought we were going to land in the ocean. Well, we did end up recovering the booster, some of it. We landed safely, but then we tipped over. It blew up a lot, but at least most of it survived, and the engine did too. And the engine's a really expensive part, so I'll take it. I'll take that. Now we're back in orbit around Sanctar. We're at the Destiny shuttle now. I'm gonna cut a lot of that stuff out in future episodes. Now we got some music going. Now, I'd love to play other games on this channel, but to be honest, I kind of don't want to, just because I feel like the YouTube algorithm will think my channel is used for different games and stop showing people my Kerbal videos or show them to different audiences that won't like them. So I'm kind of afraid to do like mixed content on this channel. Now, I'm trying to use trajectories to plot out my course, but I'm afraid trajectories are going to get things wrong. I tried tweaking with these settings, but I ended up overshooting it. Yeah, I don't know how to use trajectories. I think people are saying, oh my gosh, it's the best mod for spaceship, for space planes. You have to use it when figuring out where to land. But I just can't, I can never get it right. It always gives me the wrong information. It always lies to me for some reason. I have landed space planes before, but they've all been SSTOs. Like a long time ago, I did a playthrough with the Kerbal system, I had this one SSTO that I always use for all of my missions. Well, not really. I did end up doing some upgrades, but I always use it, and it was like my go-to spacecraft for anything, unless I'm landing in a vacuum world. So I got a lot of experience landing space planes. So I probably could land this. In fact, I probably would have been able to if I didn't overshoot the KSC. You will soon see that I overshot it. Not right now. Right now we're doing re-entry. These big flaps offer us a lot of control, which we do need for a space shuttle when doing a unpowered descent. I might actually want to do a landing with only using the interior screens offered by Raster Prop Monitor, but that's probably gonna go really bad. You can add cameras and actually be able to see out of them, so that might make things 10,000 times easier. Raster Prop Monitors are a really cool mod. In fact, I'd say it's better than FreeIVA, because FreeIVA, sure, it can go around the spacecraft, it's really cool. You can play with a fire extinguisher, but with the Raster Prop Monitor, you can actually fly your spaceship inside the spaceship. And with VR, the possibilities are truly endless. You can actually feel like you're an actual astronaut doing things. Though I'm sure it's probably not as close to the actual experience of flying a spaceship. It's close, it's pretty good. It's pretty cool. I pressed a single key and now my Destiny really wants to tilt. So you have to really keep pitching up. And yes, there's the KSC. Bye, KSC. Yeah, trajectories lied to me again. Marvelous. I guess we're gonna have to land in the ocean now. Better than landing in the middle of the mountains, because then we certainly die. I tried braking as much as possible just so we might be able to turn back around, but it was far too late for that. Firefly's effects are stunning, especially on other planets when they're different colors. Hopefully we'll be seeing that very, very soon. Perhaps in the next episode. I think I'm gonna go interplanetary to once before I try and make a colony. So I guess the next episode we're finally gonna go interplanetary because we have the tech. Or I think we're just gonna assemble the ship. Who knows? Maybe I'll cut all the assembly out, or just cut a lot of it out, just so we can only have the interplanetary voyage in the video, just to get rid of the fluff and deliver more engaging video footage. Thankfully, the shuttle is quite responsive, although it kept wanting to pitch down a lot. Every plane does that. But if I could just pitch up, I could always do that. So I was able to safely land in the ocean, and those gave the crew quite a jolt. The shuttle can safely carry 6 crew members, but it needs a pilot to be able to fly it. Now we're back at cores, and I need more science, so I'm gonna do something really, really stupid. I am landing the space station on Silly. I know, it's a really amazing idea. I know, great idea. Best idea since, I don't know, best idea since something, I guess. I'm not gonna turn it into a surface base. I'm gonna turn it into a lander. It's gonna go back up to orbit. And with all this extra fuel, I can just do this as many times as I want, as many different biomes Silly allows, and just keep racking up science. Sure, I won't get any close to actually being able to complete the tech tree with this, but I'll get pretty darn close. I probably won't have to do as much fluff, and probably be able to have a more advanced interplanetary vehicle way sooner, just so I can use it more before upgrading. Because if I'm making an interplanetary vehicle, I want to be able to use it a lot. I want to refuel it a lot. I want to use it over and over again until I can't. That's kind of what I did with my JNSQ playthrough. That was before I really used this, really uploaded on this channel that much. But I landed on every planet in JSQ, including Nara. I'm a Nara veteran. In case you didn't know, JSQ's Nara is basically like a really, it's kind of like a Planet 9 analog. It's really, really far out. It's like a frozen gas giant because it froze over because it's so small. It has a G of gravity, but it has 40 atmospheres of pressure, and it's also really big. However, with a very thick atmosphere, propellers are overpowered, so that's what I used. Now this is the part where I harvest science, making sure I'm landed because my station wants to keep jumping back into orbit. It wants to return where it belongs. It wants to go back home. It doesn't even agree with what I'm doing right now. I gotta be careful not to destroy the engine. I mean, if I did, it probably won't be the end of the world, because I still do have an engine on the return capsule, which the crew will be using, not for a while, considering they're sitting on mounds of science. Or they're orbiting around it. And now I'm gonna go back to orbit, because I have enough science, at least for now. I guess we won't have to make a surface base, because we already have a surface base. It's right here. You know what would be really cool if we make like a really cool, powerful interstellar SSTO that can go anywhere, like a single stage to anywhere, and it can refuel anywhere. You can do like a grand tour with that. To be honest, that might be a little bit too easy though, especially since Opt Spaceplane, the private beta, Opt Spaceplane Parks, just got a new belt radiators that can cool Daedalus drive. I mean, if they can cool like a fusion aerospike, that'd be cool. That'd be great. They can do that. But cooling a Daedalus drive, that's like a little too overpowered for me. So, but I'll still do. I'll like not do anything too overpowered. I'll just do something that's not too overpowered. Probably not gonna be doing interstellar SSTO. I'll probably just have an SSTO that can like go interplanetary, but have to rely on the mothership. There's been a rising insane interstellar vehicles on YouTube, so maybe I can get in some of that action sooner than later. So now we're gonna get high efficiency nuclear propulsion, and finally unlock the sweet, sweet resources. Now, unfortunately, that is going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all later. Bye!